TRU World is now the arm of the university responsible for international activity. It began in 1983 when that department, now a department of more than 60, I believe, was a department of one, just me. My upbringing was sort of international because I was in school in Canada and in Britain at various times in my growing up, and I was an international student at UBC on that account, and that very much colored my impression of what post-secondary education ought to be. I thought it should be an international experience. So I began to agitate with the then Vice President, Mr. Jim Wright, to have a department of international development project work. It would be responsible for finding and making proposals and hopefully acquiring these projects for faculty members and others to be involved with. It would, I hoped, turn Caribou College, two-year institution in those days, would turn us into a center for international training and development project work. At that time, we didn't really think of having international students, but as time went on, other institutions became interested. So eventually, Jim Wright and I traveled on a couple of occasions to Hong Kong and assessed the possibilities there. The College Board had approved the concept of registering international students. So our first students came in about 1985. So when it became apparent that we were going to be able to attract a reasonable number of students here, then I was determined that we should provide a very distinctive level of service to those students, which would make us stand out from the other community colleges, which were also beginning to recruit at that time. So I set about hiring somebody who spoke Cantonese and was familiar with the Hong Kong education system and Hong Kong itself. And I hired Helen Chin, who was our first international student advisor. We couldn't be their parents, but we could provide a support system and a system that they could rely on when they came to a brand new country with a new system, new culture, new education system. Everything is brand new for them. So that's what we set out to do.
We play a critical role in providing the opportunities not just to these international students, but we bring the world culture to our campus. We provide the opportunities to our own students, to our faculty. We expose global cultures to our own campus. Earlier days, the international students who could come to us, they were coming from wealthier families because at the time, globalization wasn't as prevalent as today. So it was more of a rare opportunity for students to come to another country to study. That has drastically changed, particularly during the last, I would say, 5 years. These students, they come here to pursue an education and a global experience. So with the hope of lifting their family from their current situation, with the hope of making a better life for themselves and for their families, and also to contribute to the Canadian society as well.
I graduated from the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program in 2011, before coming back in 2017 to start my master's program. The master's program at TRU at that time was starting, so I was part of the first cohort to take that program, the MM program, and I graduated in 2020 with the first cohort. While I was graduating, there was a need for nurses. There's always a need for nurses. In fact, the fact that we have 80 students going in at that time, you know, the expression was that it's not enough nurses graduating, right? And so I was happy to give back in that way and just remain here and give back in that capacity. I really value the relationships that I built all through. There's friends that I made from 2006 that I'm still very close to right now. One of my friends, her name is Aisha, we went through the nursing program together, and she came all the way, not just to Nigeria, but to my village, like I'm talking rural site, to be my bridesmaid for my wedding. So those are the sort of connections that honestly, if I'm to look and pick one thing, that would be the biggest, is those connections, those genuine, meaningful connections that I made.
So the students who are here having that experience, they're telling their families, their friends, you know, there's a little institution in this little town called Kamloops, and if you come to this institution, you'll get a quality education and you'll get amazing service.
In my experience, international students, we really need sometimes support, and I think TRU have a good support and good advices, tips to live here. And I really love TRU because I have a good support and I have good professors, good courses that is going to be worth it for my future.
What we need to do is make sure that the students that graduate from this institution are global citizens, and meeting, working with, coming to know, and interacting with students from all over the world is just part of that process.